Check.It.Up.
Is there are several sources, and you interview more than 24, who point to the fact that it may be time for, as they say, the Clippers to get out of the Kawhi business.
Kawhi, when I played with him in San Antonio, obviously he was one of the greatest players in the league. He could make stuff happen in either end of the floor in an elite way. And that's, then the way he exited San Antonio was quite not ideal. It was, it created some issues, also around our season at the time. But apparently there were some differences that couldn't be solved, and he kind of, got his way out. The Clippers took a big gamble. It didn't quite pan out as they planned. I think when you look back, and I think you mentioned it on the article, a lot of GMs at the time, when he was a free agent, they would have gone all in also for Kawhi. And bringing Paul George at the time, who was also one of the top players in the league. So, it just didn't work out. Now they have to deal with reality and what's here, what's in front of them, and looking at what's best for the franchise going forward, whether it's, and at some point relationships end, in terms end. So Kawhi will be, just like any other player, will be moving on, and the Clippers have to deal with what's best for them, and they should be optimistic and positive going into a season. If you're not, you're already kind of fish dead in the water, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
All of this kind of brings the question, what happens next? What challenges will the Clippers face as they try to settle all of this and perhaps even move on, if that is what comes to fruition?
Well, Malika, I don't really think it's a discussion anymore in terms of what the Clippers need to do about Kawhi, as I believe that answer is quite evident, if not glaring at this point. Kawhi has only played in about 60% of the total games in a Clippers uniform, which wouldn't be enough for any team who's spending max money on one player to be successful, unless those 60% of the games were coming from the playoffs, which unfortunately for the Clippers in this case, they weren't. Also, Kawhi statistically has declined throughout his 5-year tenure with the Clippers as well. So based off that alone, I personally would not continue to offer him an extension past the 2026-27 season, unless if he's willing to come back on a team-friendly deal, perhaps within the range of maybe $15 to $20 million. And let me be clear here, it's not because I don't think that Kawhi isn't a terrific player anymore. He's still, without a doubt, one of the best two-way players within the game. But due to his advancement in age and his consistent inability to stay healthy, I personally would no longer be able to move with the intention as if he's the face of my franchise. And I'm willing to bet that all 30 teams in the association would also agree with me. I think if you're the Clippers, because this is the best that you've looked since Kawhi first came to LA, because you quite literally have no other choice either, I'd say that you just have to let them play out this year and reevaluate them at the end of the season. But the mission is always the same, which is finals or bust. If they make the finals this year, I think that you should allow all the players to return for their final season next year. However, they get bounced in the first round, or worse, if they don't even make the playoffs or the play-in, then I believe at that point you should start taking offers no later than this year's 2025-26 offseason. And he should be gone by no later than 2026 trade deadline. Who, despite whatever on the court or even off the court drama Kawhi Leonard has, I still think he can fetch a somewhat decent return from a team, or at the very least his production on a contending team could still prove useful. Teams like Denver, Minnesota, Golden State, Boston, if they got their hands on a player like Kawhi, that could definitely increase their odds to win a championship. You just have to keep in mind that he may not be there at all. But what do you guys think? Is Kawhi worth another max contract, or should the Clippers move on? Y'all let me know in the comments. Peace.